What is Temu, and why has it been shoving itself in your face from every iron for the third year now? Ads on social media, god-awful banners on websites, ecstatic videos on TikTok. It seems like the whole world has gone crazy over this orange logo. All your friends are already bragging about their penny-pinching gadgets, second-hand clothes, and toxic toys that could make your kid grow a second head. It's cheaper than any marketplace you know. Heck, even AliExpress looks like a luxury boutique compared to Temu. But how do they do it? They humbly talk about direct shipments from factories. They just forget to mention that these factories are in Xinjiang, where Uyghur slaves toil around the clock for a bowl of rice. And your packages fly in bypassing all laws, taxes, and duties. Because to customs, it's not merchandise, it's a cheap gift. But even slave labor and scams don't explain where they get all that money for this feast. And here you might ask the main question: what if the real product isn't what they're selling, but the real product is you? And as soon as you start digging, you realize Temu isn't just another Chinese scam, it's a Trojan horse that feeds you cheap junk assembled by slave hands, and while you're thrilled about a new soap dish for $1, it's quietly sucking out all your data and dumping it straight into the hands of the Chinese Communist Party. How exactly does this grand deception scheme work? Why do millions of people fall for it? And how deeply is the Chinese government involved? My name is Vitaly Shevchenko. Thanks in advance for the like and subscription. And now, let's dive in. Chapter 1. Mind Capture: Temu's Strategy for Market Capture is marketing thought out to the smallest detail, designed to crawl into every crevice of your consciousness. First off, they decided to buy themselves a seat at the adult table. And where better to do that than at the Super Bowl, the main orgy of American consumerism? Their blitzkrieg started in 2023, while everyone was wondering what this orange weirdo was. They, without batting an eye, dropped $14 million onto ad spots. Just so all of America would ask, like, who the hell is this? But that was just a warm-up, and exactly a year later, at Super Bowl 2024, they came back to finish what they started. At $7 million for 30 seconds of airtime, these lunatics bought 3 ad blocks during the main game, pouring $21 million into them. But that wasn't enough for them to burn a hole in brains for sure and crawl into every phone. They threw another $15 million into the crowd in the form of giveaways and promo codes. And the crowd, of course, gobbled it up after that show. Their downloads skyrocketed. Next came an army of so-called influencers. Temu didn't just offer partnerships, they literally spammed every blogger from school kids to retirees. In the end, YouTube was flooded with tons of videos of supposedly honest unboxings, where another influencer got a box of Chinese junk for free. With puppy-eyed enthusiasm, they proclaim, "Guys, this is top-notch. Get it, you won't regret it." This blurs the line between ads and real reviews. While you believe your blogger won't sell you out for, I don't know, $5 smartwatches. And then the main ace up their sleeve, turning your phone into a cheap, sticky slot machine that devours your time and money. You open the app, and right away you see, lightning discount 90% off. Only 3 minutes left. By now, spin the roulette and win a huge coupon. Or look, this item has been bought 20 times in the last minute, and you still haven't. This is pure casino psychology, hitting your most basic instincts and turning you into a zombie who'll buy anything under the pretext that time's running out, and it's such a great deal. And the cherry on top, outright scams with prizes. Invite 500 friends and get an iPhone or win a Nintendo Switch for $7. Sounds tempting, right? But unfortunately, the conditions are made so that they're essentially impossible. You have to spam all your acquaintances, turn into a free slave recruiter, drag dozens of people into this funnel, and you'll never get the prize. It's just a genius way to make millions of people advertise their app for free. But hold on, Super Bowl ads, paid bloggers, and millions on prizes, that's a ton of money. How can a company afford to spend hundreds of millions on marketing if they're basically selling at a loss? Chapter 2. Economics of Deception. So, how does this outfit manage to sell you all sorts of junk at a loss and still get rich? First, Temu doesn't make money on your purchases, they lose on them. By various estimates, each of your orders costs them -$6 or even -$30. Over a year, That adds up to nearly $1 billion in losses. This is an old trick that Amazon pulled off back in the day, burning money on cheap books to bury all the bookstores. I talked about this in my video on Amazon, by the way. The goal is simple: hook you on ultra-low prices, squeeze out all competitors until they're dust, and then, when they're the last ones standing on the ashes, jack up prices to the sky. Second, they had a secret weapon: loopholes in the laws of different countries. The gist is simple: if a package costs less than a certain amount, it slips into the country by passing duties and taxes. In Europe and Canada, these loopholes were pretty modest, but in the USA, they hit the jackpot. An anomalous limit of $800. It was through this hole that they smuggled millions of packages while local companies paid all the fees. But that party's over. Since May 2025, the USA slammed that loophole shut specifically for China, slapping high duties on their packages. And the EU followed suit. Third, this so-called logistics on steroids. While Amazon, like a dinosaur, builds its giant warehouses, Temu just ships packages to you by plane straight from the Chinese conveyor belt. No warehouses, no middlemen, just the factory and your doorstep. Sounds efficient, but it also means zero intermediate control, zero quality checks, and zero safety guarantees. What you get isn't even a pig in a poke, it's a radioactive cat in a burning bag. And just in the USA, 600,000 such cats arrive every day. Think I'm exaggerating about the radioactive cat? What if I tell you the reality is even worse? Chapter 3: Poison in the Package. I think the worst thing about Temu is that they're scamming you? Not at all. Behind every saved cent is a real threat to your health. When you open that orange package, you have no idea what crap you brought into your home. And this isn't an exaggeration. Investigations in Europe confirm it. Temu products regularly contain banned toxic substances. For example, in Denmark, kids' toys were found with phthalates at levels to 140 times above the norm. But that's not the limit. South Korean authorities, after their check, were horrified. In Temu's kids' products, they found lead and carcinogens at doses hundreds of times over the limit. Think about it: in some of these products, carcinogens exceeded the norm by 443 times and lead by 28 times. It got to the point where regulators in Canada and Australia started officially recalling Temu sold products due to direct threats to life, from kids' hoodies that could burst into flames, from any spark to choking hazards. But that's not all. Temu sellers are basically engaging in blatant theft. They don't just copy others' designs. They steal photos, descriptions, and even official safety certificates from real, honest companies. In the end, they sell you a dangerous fake, hiding behind documents from the company they robbed. Stealing photos and forging documents is just the tip of the iceberg. Besides intellectual property, they're stealing something else: human lives. Chapter 4: Paid for by slavery. And now one of the darkest parts of this video, the kind people don't like to talk about. Every time you add another trinket for a couple of bucks to your cart, you're unwittingly buying a ticket to hell for thousands of people. Behind every penny price is a human life, and the cost ranges from sweatshop slavery to outright genocide. Let's start with the light version: sweatshop slavery. In the factories turning out junk for Temu, conditions are often brutal, inherited from the 996 culture of their parent company PDD. That means people grind 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, or even without days off. And believe me, that's the good part, because numerous reports, including US Congress documents, state outright there is an extremely high risk that Temu's supply chains are tainted with forced labor of the Uyghur people in Xinjiang province. Over 1 million Uyghurs and other minorities are herded into so-called re-education camps, which are just regular concentration camps where they're brainwashed to praise the Communist Party, tortured, and humiliated. Those who resist face hell. They're strapped to tiger chairs that break their will, shackled, beaten, and electrocuted until they pass out. And those who survive are sent into slavery on cotton fields that produce 20% of the world's cotton and textile factories to sew cheap rags for you. And what happens to their children? Their kids are ripped from families, shaved bald, and sent to boarding schools where they're turned into obedient slaves, erasing their native language and culture. And while the USA passes the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act to stop this horror, Temu just spits on it from a high tower. Every time you hit the pay button, you're basically saying outright, "Keep going, I'm fine with it." But why? Why put up with slave labor and genocide to sell you a trinket for $1 that they don't even profit from? The answer is simple, because that trinket is just bait. The real product is you. Chapter 5. You are the product, and here we get to the main thing. The real product this was all set up for. It's you and me, or rather, our data. In the USA, class action lawsuits have already been filed against this outfit, stating in black and white, the app has a whole arsenal of tools to access literally everything on your phone. And you're probably wondering, what data exactly do they collect? All of it. Your name, address, phone, birth date, your photos, social media posts, social security number. They want your search history, your location. They want to know what you text your mom about and what you Google at night. Plaintiffs claim this thing can bypass your phone's security to rummage through your messages like it's their own home, including your camera and mic, and even change phone settings without you knowing. And here, the next question you'll probably have is, why do they need this data? To sell you piecemeal. Your data, compiled into a neat digital dossier, is priceless merchandise. It can be sold to advertisers, scammers, anyone, and finally, it can just be dumped straight to the Chinese government. If you still need proof, here it is. Their Chinese twin app, Pinduoduo, was kicked out of the Google Play Store in disgrace. It had malicious code that spied on users. Temu is the same Trojan horse, just repainted orange for the Western market. But why do so many people who know all this keep buying stuff and feeding this monster? Chapter 6. Awakening. So, what is Temu in the end? It's not just an online dump. It's a mirror reflecting our collective illness, a narcotic addiction to freebies. We've turned ourselves into easy prey and silent accomplices. Every click to buy is a vote for a world where small businesses must die. Our homes are piled with toxic junk. Slave labor is a normal price for a $3 t-shirt, and privacy is just a commodity for sale. We've been trained that everything owes us cheap and immediate. The only way to break out of this trap is to stop. Turn on your brain and think, who's really paying for all these discounts, and am I personally okay with being complicit in all this? Thanks for watching. Write what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe if it was interesting. Check out the channel, there are lots of other videos just as fascinating. See you in the next one. Bye.